The Castlevania series of games have always been a personal favorite of mine. They've been a great bunch of games that have focused on tight platforming and challenging gameplay. But out of all the games to use the title, I've always enjoyed the Metroidvania style of games, such as Symphony of the Night, and the GBA and DS games the most. When the producer of the Castlevania franchise, Koji Igarashi, left Konami in 2014, I was honestly worried we wouldn't ever get another game like those from him ever again. Thankfully though, I was completely wrong. It ends up that Igarashi's actually teamed up with Intercreates to make a new game called Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, for PC, Mac, Linux, PS4, and Xbox One. The Kickstarter for it just went live today, and what's been shown so far looks really promising. Igarashi is apparently trying to make this game the Metroidvania game his fans have been waiting for. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm telling you this. Well, it ends up that our good friends over at Fangamer are actually managing the Kickstarter. They're also doing the physical reward work like they did for Mighty No. 9, and they asked me and a bunch of other people to promote the Kickstarter. I, of course, agreed to do it in a completely calm and not at all fanboy manner. As a trade for doing it, there's going to be a Proton John Credits clan available for Kickstarter backers at a certain tier level. So on top of the other rewards, we can all be listed in the game's credits together, and there'll be a special in-game cosmetic accessory that I get to help design that we'll all get to use by typing in a cheat code. And yeah, I've already got plans for that. So to celebrate the announcement of Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, I'm going to LP my favorite Castlevania game that Igarashi worked on, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. You know, the video you're currently watching. So check out the Kickstarter, the link should be on screen, and it's also in the video description below, and let's make it happen. I am way too excited for this game. But for now though, let's boot up the Game Boy Advance and play through Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. Man, that sound brings back so many memories. The Game Boy Advance was an amazing system, such a huge step up from the Game Boy Color. And it brought so many interesting games to the table, including this one, Castlevania Aria of Sorrow, the third of the GBA Castlevanias, and honestly my favorite one. As much as I like Circle of the Moon and Harmony of Dissonance, they were both kind of overshadowed by this one in general. This was the hardest one out of the three to find, especially nowadays, but easily the best, and I'm here to show you today why. At least it went to the right menu. This time, last time I tried that, it got back to the story. So we're going to create a little save file here. This is a really long game. If you're not familiar with the Metroidvania style of the games, you're kind of in for a treat. If you're a fan of Metroid at all, you're definitely going to like this. I just bet it's not going to fit. Man, it fits perfectly. It's almost like they thought of that in advance. Let's do it. Now, if you're familiar with Castlevania at all, this one stands out for a number of reasons. One of the first ones being, this actually takes place in the future. No other Castlevania game takes place in present day. Everything else takes place in the past, usually hundreds of years ago, but this one takes place 20 years in the future right now. I mean, when this came out in 2003, it was much more than that, but we are also doing something a little bit different. Usually we're supposed to be a Belmont. I think there's maybe, at this point, only one game where you have not played as a Belmont. Two, if you count the re-release of Castlevania 64. This time around, we are playing as an 18-year-old high school student. It seems like a huge difference from previous Castlevanias, but it'll all make sense in a bit. Basically, we're in Japan in the year 2035, and our main character, Soma Cruz, is going up to the top of a hill to watch an eclipse with his friend. However, of course, trying to go see an eclipse is always a bad thing. And suddenly we wake up here. Here is our title character, Soma Cruz, with his gigantic fur coat. I did not realize 20 years from now, everyone will be wearing fur coats again. This is also his high school friend, Mina, also known as not really doing much in this game. But at least for the beginning here, it's going to make sense. And we've got our first character introduced here. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Also, that's quite the stance you've got over there. Speaking of stances, there's known as Somas. Wow. You're almost standing the same, kind of. Pretty close. Our new friend here is Genya Arakato. Don't read too much into it yet. They have to explain the story yet. So now we have to figure out why we're here. Because this isn't Japan, if you couldn't tell. Doesn't exactly look anything like it at all. It ends up we're in Dracula's castle in Transylvania. That's quite the jump. So the idea is that they're stuck inside a solar eclipse, which will relate to things later on. It's explained slowly over the game, but basically, in the year 1999, Dracula was defeated. His castle was locked inside of a solar eclipse, which, I mean, why not? They're not that often. They don't happen that often. But somehow, because of the solar eclipse happening, Soma and Mina have been summoned here, along with everyone else. Meanwhile, we'll have to wait a bit to find out more information, because we've got enemies. And Genya does a very familiar move if you're familiar with other Castlevania games. And then, of course, Soma apparently has a fucking knife on him. He is an 18-year-old high school student. What the fuck are you doing with a knife? Especially when you're just on a date with your friend. That's never really explained. I think that's one thing glazed over, but, I mean, whatever. We'll go with it at this point. It's very important. Something very important just happened here. Now we've got the spirit of the enemy we just killed. So we just stole that winged skeleton's soul. Now we find out apparently we have an innate ability to absorb the abilities of any monsters we kill. Which, I wish the frequency of that was a little higher. You'll understand when we get a little farther in this game. But now we have to go to the Master's Chamber. We have to go to Dracula's Chamber to figure out why. To figure out how to escape out of here and what these powers actually mean. Don't worry. Apparently, Genya has magic abilities, which we already figured out earlier. Apparently, there will be no more enemies here, even though, like, 30 appeared immediately without them noticing. I somehow don't trust your barrier, Genya. But we'll go with it. Because otherwise, then we're stuck here the whole time. Somehow, Genya ends up guilting us into actually do something. And he'll just be running around doing stuff as well. And now we're finally free. We've got our character Soma. He's got a beautiful pose. Look at that. Showing off those sick bell bottoms. I love... If you have not seen the actual full design of Soma's character, I'll put it up on screen now. A fur coat, a turtleneck, and bell bottoms in the future. It's great. Meanwhile, Mina, you're gonna just be there for a while. You'll be okay. And you're not gonna tell me anything helpful. No, of course not. We've got our nice little knife. I didn't want to talk to you, but alright. And thus, we entered Castlevania. Now, if you've never played a Metroidvania game before, and I'm going to keep calling that out of habit, I know a lot of people don't like that term, but basically it is a Metroid game mixed with Castlevania, hence Metroidvania. So the idea is that we have to go around exploring this maze of a castle. Speaking of mazes, there's our map so far, and as you can see, we've got 4 spaces so far visible, which is 0.4% of the map. We've got a lot to explore. Meanwhile, you can destroy candles to get items, kill enemies to get experience points, and eventually you just level up. Not going to waste time killing too many of these. They're only worth about 1 experience point each, I believe. If you ever are curious, you can go to the pause menu, and we can see our stats here. We've got our health, magic points, all our stats, strength, condition, or concentration, I believe in this case, attack, defense, intelligence, and luck, and our status, which is, we're good. Shows our map percentage, how much money we have on hand, how much experience we need to the next level, which is 71, which is a lot if we're just killing these guys. Because as you can see on the enemy data, 1 experience point, but we do have their weakness, which is sword, or in our case, a little stabby knife. We can also show off what we grabbed earlier. We've got the winged skeleton soul. So this is one of our 3 soul types. The main thing about this game is you get 3 different types of souls. This is a bullet soul, which basically means you get a projectile. 9 times out of 10 they're projectiles. There's some form of attack. We've also got the ability soul, which we can't use yet. We've got to find that one around the map. We've also got the enhancement soul, which will basically give us a permanent buff, which is really good. But only the one that's equipped. If I always said I wasn't going to kill any more of these guys, yet I've still killed a bunch. Go for it. What we need right now, we need a couple item drops. So every enemy can drop an item. I believe with some rare exceptions. Also, we've got our first equipable item, the short sword. We're going to want that right away. That is not the item. There you go. Apparently, that giant pimp coat is normal, casual clothing. I fear for the future. All right, here we go. Each weapon obviously changes any of the stats. This one works totally in our favor. Ups our attack by 3, and also extends our range by a fair amount. It's very important. Also, we're going to get another important item over here. This is a... This is an ability soul container. So if we break this, we'll gain the Gravekeeper soul, which gives us the ability to backdash by pressing the L button. So basically now if anyone tries to attack us, we can dodge out of the way. It's very helpful, but you'll probably see me goofing it up a bit. It's also good for extra attacks, because you can actually basically attack buffer, but if you do it too fast, you'll end up not actually doing the attack in question. Now, you're supposed to go to the right, but I'm going to cut over here for a second and walk through this loading zone. At least, that's what it is in Symphony of the Night. We're going to cut down the underground reservoir for a second. I may have regretted this, because we can't really take on many of the enemies. In fact, I'm going to take a lot of hits as a result. The main reason I want to come down here is because there's an item we can get right away. A pendant. That's going to be our first equipable accessory. Really doesn't do much. It ups our luck by 1, but luck is an incredibly important stat in this game. Now, we could keep exploring here, but it's not going to do much for us because, unfortunately, first off, there's these damn fish. Second off, we'll use our bullet soul to get rid of them. Get a little bit more experience. The main reason is, eventually, we can't do anything over here. Cut through a little bit more, and all we're going to find is a dead end. I mean, unless it takes a while to get there. It takes a lot longer to get there than I thought. So now we can't get up there yet. But at least we can get some tasty meat. And we can't go down here yet. So unfortunately, gotta remember to come back here later. We've got 2 different options. I'll save you the trouble. I'll meet you over there. Alright, there we go. We've got our first level up. Which that increased, looks like it increased pretty much all of our stats, actually. I don't know if the stat increases are predetermined or if it's based off of your file name or anything else. But either way, it's definitely worth your time to level up. Now we got that out of the way. Let's head back over here to where we're actually supposed to be going. That detour aside, the idea is that it's unfortunately the one major problem I have with this game is that there's a little grind heavy. If you noticed, we haven't gotten any new souls except for that one container. We can get a soul from every enemy in the game practically. I think there's very, very few exceptions. But to get them, you gotta kind of keep killing over and over again. You're not guaranteed to get a soul, and I don't want to do too much on-screen grinding to kind of drive you guys insane. I don't know if we're going to go for 100% soul completion. We are going to go for 100% map completion for sure. But soul, I may do some stuff off-screen. We will see. We'll try to get the more interesting ones. Speaking of interesting, we have the Merman soul, which I believe is actually not all that interesting. But now, we can shoot water out of our nose. Perfect. I mean, it's more coming out of his mouth than anything, but at least it gives us a new weapon. And here is a very important room, a save room. It recharges your health, your magic points, which is how you use all your souls, and obviously lets you save. We're going to need it because I believe we are coming up on our first boss of the game right off the bat. If we hadn't even done that detour, we would have been right at that boss. But honestly, I wanted to show off how the idea is we can't go to certain areas, and that I kind of really wanted to level up a little bit faster. We've got ourselves another accessory. Ups the defense but lowers the luck. I'm actually going to be keeping luck as high as I can because that increases the amount of times we can get souls and drops and many other things. So you'll excuse me for wanting to actually keep going with that. I suppose I just realized I also have not explained how your magic works. You obviously use magic points, but they are hearts. If you played any previous Castlevania games, you'll know that you get sub-weapons, and hearts are how you use your sub-weapons. This time around, the souls are the sub-weapons. Each one has a specific cost. I'm just going to take that hit because I'm an idiot. And it's dictated by which one you use. Right now, because I'm using the water pistol, it's 14 per use. Throwing spears is 12 per use. And since we're coming up on the first boss, I may actually switch back to the other one because I don't remember which one is better for him. I know I can get 2 hits with the spear, so I may switch to the spear just to test that. But let's do it. First boss of the game. A big-ass skeleton! Now we can only get 1 hit out of that. Alright, but if we switch to the winged skeleton spear, And dodge that attack. 2 attacks at 28. Uh-oh, actually. Was that actually better? 23. All right, they're about the same. It's not a biggie. Here's where you'll actually find your backdashing pretty helpful. They are fairly nice about giving you abilities right before you'll need them. So that's the one good thing about these games in general. You keep on top of that. Also, first boss, not going to give you too much trouble. And this little orb here. Just double checking something here first. Gives us a full heal. Doesn't up our stats, though, which is why I checked that for a second. But that level up obviously did. Boom, first boss down, and we get an important item right now. The first piece of the castle map. And as you can see, we've got a long way to go. Stop in here, though. Give ourselves a nice little break. Yeah, let's see here. Should I attack a little bit more before we go, or should I just stop? Problem is going to be pacing out and where I'm going to pick to stop, because like that was a good point right there. But let's check down here for a bit. I believe this is a dead end down here, and we can show off one important thing, and it's this creepy guy. What is important is this wall right here. Stab it, and it goes away. There are hidden secrets everywhere. They will not show up on your map at all, no matter what items you buy. So we've got our first usable item, or no, actually it's our second, Mind Up. Meanwhile, we also have our tasty meat. Use them here so I can get some of my MP back if I ever go a little too magic crazy, and I can get my health back. These are very, very important. If you've ever played Symphony of the Night, you originally had to throw the items on the ground to use them, but thankfully in this game you just use them straight up in the menu. We won't be using them too much, hopefully, but that goes without saying at this point. You never know when you're going to need it. Alright. Can't do anything about that up there yet. We need a new ability soul, but we also needed this soul in particular. We've got our first equipable soul. Our first ability soul. The flying armor. Now with this, it's activated while holding the right button, and now we slowly float when we land now. It's not going to do much for us at the moment, but it will let us move on for sure to some more areas and actually make it a lot easier to get around. The only downside is, obviously, the longer we hold it down, the more it gets used, as you can see. It's 5 per time. But they don't say what time actually translates to. It's not per second. It's faster than seconds. It almost seems like actually time stands for 1 second twice. Wow, I could have said that a lot better. But you get what I mean. It's actually like their idea of time is basically half a second. And we got a new, nice. I'm actually liking that we're getting these pretty fast. Skeleton essentially is the axe from previous Castlevania games, just in the shape of a bone. So if you want to throw bones at people, boom, we've got your ability right here. Fortunately, most enemies not going to be that most useful right now. The real benefit is that it's a lot cheaper in MP, but we're going to stick with wing skeleton. Actually, no. Let's stick with Let's stick with putting water out of our nose. The sad thing is, the one thing that kind of bugs me in this game as well, I mean, there's a couple small things, but I still enjoy it overall. They're small enough that they're just nitpicking, really. The walk speed's a little slow. This gets remedied later on, but for now, can't do anything about it. Unless you want to backdash everywhere. And to be fair, I believe that's actually what most speedruns do at this point. However, if you want to play a whole game where all you hear is, then be my guest. I'm not going to be doing that. So I apologize for the slightly slower, throttling pace, but I think you might appreciate it on your ears a little bit more. Could be worse. It could be rolling or backflipping in Ocarina of Time. Shit, we got another one. I wasn't expecting that at all. Fires enchanted arrows. Oh, actually, I remember this one not being that good. Well, I mean, it kind of is. It's very slow, and it allows you to keep moving when you use it. But I feel at the same time, like, you can kind of do better. It doesn't... I don't believe the shot actually falls, though, so it is kind of helpful in some ways. When you have a need for accuracy, this may be where you want to go. And what is that thing? That is a bear. A where? That is a spinning wheel. It's a very childish thing. We will ignore it completely. Hi, Death. Now, we had to go get the flying soul because we can't make that jump otherwise. So, now that we have it, let's hop our way back up here and gently float over and continue our quest. We get a potion. And we completely miss. Oh, actually, one of the shots actually hit. I'm a little surprised. This is probably the best time where you're going to want to switch to your bone-throwing skeleton here. You can just do this and get burned completely. You will find yourself, if you want to optimize how you're playing, you will be switching your souls a lot. But at the same time, I wish it was easier to swap. Now, they thought through this a little bit in the sequel, in Dawn of Sorrow on the DS. They give you soul, like, presets. So you can swap between them on the fly if you have 2 different sets you want to use. But for now, unfortunately, we're just going to keep going through the menu each time we want to change up something. Nice. How's our stats going up? Very nice. Like it. I like it a lot. Our health went up a decent amount then. I am not going the way I should be going, but we're going to go this way anyways. Get back my nose water. That's not Holy Enchanted 2, is it? I think that's actually... Because there's a number of different elements. I don't believe water is considered one of the elements in this case. That looks like a Holy Splash. So if I'm wrong on that, I apologize, but it might be a good case if we do have it. Also, I thought bottom was where we needed to go. Might still be, actually. Let's keep going. The one problem if you're going to be wandering around is you're going to find yourself backtracking a lot. That is the unfortunate side effect of anything Metroid or Castlevania, Metroidvania related. You're going to find yourself being like, all right, wait, how do I go? Do I have to go here? Can I go that way yet? Why can't I go that way yet? Oh, wait, I don't have that ability yet. Happens over and over, unfortunately. Does not diminish the fun of these games, though, which is why I'm so excited for the new Igavania thing. I'm so pumped for this. And is why I ended up playing through this right now. So I know some people might have been a little upset that this suddenly popped up in their feed for me, but hopefully not too upset. Oh, no, this actually works out. That bottom was where we need to go after all. No. No. Nose water. Nose water. Another accessory, which, oh, man. Actually, this might not have been the best now that I think about it, because I wanted to keep with luck. Scarf ups our defense by 2, so it's definitely better than the cave. But it still lowers our luck. I have a feeling some people are going to tell me 1 point of luck is not worth 2 points of defense, but I think for now we're going to keep with it. Ooh, sweet. All right. Our enemy we just killed, which was the enemy I've forgotten the name of, Skeleton Knight. He dropped us one of his... Oh, only 1 drops. So he dropped the rapier, so we got a new weapon we can equip. Every enemy, if they have a drop, will tell you. They'll have question marks next to their name like that. So the Killerfish has 1 drop. Wow, a lot of these guys do not have drops at all, huh? I thought almost everyone had an item drop. And there's the boss we just killed. Alright. Let's look at our new weapon. That's a pretty good improvement! Let's do it! How is it different attack? Alright, so it's... The range is a little bit less. Range is a little bit less, but it seems like the speed is a little bit up. I think, honestly, for the damage difference, it's definitely worth keeping. You'll have to do this a lot. There are a lot of different weapons in this game. And because this game's also based in the... Well, I was going to say the present, but in the near future, you have a lot of different options, too. You're going to have some weapons that you would never have seen in a previous Castlevania game. And I don't remember if I can actually make that jump yet. I might actually be able to if I do that. One last try, and then we'll cut ahead. I'm out of MP points. I actually can't even try it anyways. Nope. Alright. So we're going to wait till we get another ability to get up there. I believe that's only for an accessory anyways. And we're going to need an ability much later to get that. Oh, dude, we're getting a lot of ability souls. I'm loving this. Bullet souls, rather. Alright, unfortunately, we're not getting many of the good ones. Bat basically makes a ring attack around you. It's good if you're got a bunch of small enemies around you that you need to clear out quickly. But that's about it, really. We're not going to be using that one that much. If you guys have any recommendations for any souls you want me to focus on, or any you want me to actually like try out, by all means, like tell me. I'll try to hunt as many as I can. I am open to like trying out different ones. I know that there's usually specific ones I lock onto while I'm playing. But if you think there's something better off than what I'm using, or if you had any recommendations, by all means, say them in the comments below. I do read the comments from time to time. Despite recommendations of the otherwise. Alright, here we go. We got our first sign of the future. Grenades. We've got ourselves a zombie soldier. Slowly walks forward with a bayonet. And just throws a knife. Or throws a grenade, rather. And of course, his soul, if we kill him, is we get to throw grenades. It's very therapeutic. Ooh. I really should have gotten this first. Damn. Boom. New armor. We unfortunately have to get rid of our trendy clothes. Sorry. Our casual clothes. Put on some leather plate. Ups our defense by 5. Unfortunately, does not change us cosmetically. You have to keep in mind, this is a Game Boy Advance game. They didn't really have the luxury that they did on, say, the PlayStation 1, where they could just make everything cosmetic. Like, anytime you equip something in Symphony of the Night, you at least have, like, a cosmetic change, like a color change or something like that. So you did know if something was different. This is a GBA game, though. The best we get is we get our sword. That's the only thing that really changes. And, obviously, the souls, because there's a lot of sprites for that. Forget if you can actually do something with that guy back there. I don't think we can right now, but I think later on we are able to. Like one of these is supposed to be able to be burned away or something like that. Or I'm confusing with Dawn of Sorrow. I found that when I was practicing this game, I confused a lot of things with Dawn of Sorrow. Which I guess makes sense since it's the game I would have played more recently out of the two. Although at this point, this is actually the easier one to play now. All 3 of the GBA Castlevania games, they're all on the Wii U Virtual Console. This is actually what I'm playing this on right now. So if you want to play this game or play along, I think you can get it for like $5. Which, considering like the price of getting the actual cart, I believe at one point went over $100. It's definitely worth getting on the Virtual Console. A lot easier to play. God, I remember when I actually first got this game. This game was actually a little hard to find, so I picked up a copy end of 2003, beginning of 2004, my first year of university. The problem is, though, I ordered it off of eBay. And I didn't know at the time that Game Boy Advance, like, cart scamming was a thing. I had no idea about that. So I got the game. It came with a box. Like, the order looked legit. And then I found out, when I got it, there was a price tag sticker underneath the Castlevania Aria of Sorrow logo sticker. I thought this was weird, but whatever. Put it in, the game ran perfectly fine. I thought it was a legit copy. Ends up, I bought my very first bootleg of a game. I think I still have it to this day, too. The game worked perfectly fine for years. I played it for years in university. And then, unfortunately, by the end of it, by the end of university, the battery died on it. So now it doesn't keep a save anymore. I was lucky enough eventually to find a legit copy of it. By the time, I was really bummed out that I had been tricked so easily. Hang on a sec. I think we're near another boss. No, we're near some story. Another question mark character. Everyone really likes wearing suits in this game. Except for good old Pimp Coat Sora. What? I don't understand why this human is scaring Soma. After all the things he's gone through, why would that be the thing that worries him? That he's like, oh, are you real? I mean, then again, you might be traumatized. An 18-year-old going around stabbing a lot of demons. All right, we found our friend Graham Jones, the missionary. And we've apparently hit it off pretty well. Graham's just kind of chilling out. Someone using that hot slang of the year 2035, boom. And Graham's just kind of like trying to figure out what's going on. And to be fair, so Soma. The rumor about this being Dracula's castle, I mean, I feel like, how is that the hardest thing for you to believe at this point? You found yourself, you walked up a Japanese cliff and ended up in Europe. Of course that would freak you out. Well, okay, technically you're not in Europe. Technically you're in the sun or the moon, a floating castle. All right, this is dumb. It's kind of dumb, but whatever. It's a video game. Oh, wait, no. We're in the true Dracula castle. Even better. The true castle floats in space. It's a well-known fact in the underworld. Don't you go to the underworld Wikipedia page? I mean, Wiki was around at this point, right? I hope so in the year 2035. So it was on WikiLeaks. The WikiLeaks of the past. All right. Usually the church deals with everything, but however, Dracula just keeps getting revived, which is true. The lore up to this point in Castlevania is that every 100 years, Dracula resurrects himself, and a Belmont has to go kill it. Or has to go kill him, rather, but there ain't no Belmont around right now. We just got Soma Cruiser-Rock around here to try to apparently kill Dracula. Or not. Dracula apparently dies in the year 1999. Apparently Nostradamus' great prophecy of it, too. So he's resurrected in 99. However, vampire hunters, which presumably would be the Belmonts, completely killed him, which is what is so weird storyline-wise about this, is that it's not 100 years. And he's supposed to be completely dead. So why is his castle suddenly back? Although we're not really going to find out the truth right now. He's going to cut me off right now, isn't he? Nope, he keeps going. In the year 2035, a new master will come to the castle, and he will inherit all of Dracula's powers. So someone in this castle is going to be taking away all of Dracula's powers. Is that it? I mean, I just told you someone's going to kill us all, but, you know. Got anything else to say? And then he says, thank you! They just had, like, they just became best buds. Look at that. Graham just walks away. Someone strikes a sexy pose. And then, technically, we're supposed to follow him. Because he leads to the next area. However, I think we're actually going to cut it off here. Yeah, we've got two options to go right now. We can cut to the left and try to cut down there. I don't know if we can even... Can we even? Actually, no. Sorry, we're going to check that out first, then we're going to cut back here. So we'll... Because I've got the sneaking feeling this might have been where the boss I was thinking of was. I also could be completely full of it, which also would not surprise me. Oh, no, I think this just straight up leads to a new area again. Might as well kill some more mermen while we're at it. Now, you can actually get extra souls off of these enemies as well, even if you already have the type of soul. It technically doesn't... Wow, I just got 2! That was actually really lucky, so I got 3 bad souls. Technically, in this one, it does not affect the power of your attack. I believe that only works in... I believe it's in Dawn of Sorrow that does everything. That's one of the things I was getting confused. But it can be very helpful with a specific soul, which I'm... Future John, you're going to have to save me on this, because I might also be thinking of Dawn again. I believe there's one specific soul that actually gets a benefit from that. How many bad souls am I going to get? We're up to 4. Let's get some more while we're at it. Nope, I'm going to stick with 4. This is why I up my luck stat. Up your luck stat. There's a specific item that will also help, like, I think doubles or even more. Raises the chance of you getting souls. Always focus on your luck stat. Unless you're getting completely destroyed, which in that case, focus on a different stat. Probably defense. The more powerful nose water has killed everyone here. I should have tested that bat theory, or the soul theory. John only said the truth on screen. But, now that we've done that, we've cleared out that little area, we've got 11% of the map cleared. We've still got quite a ways to go. But for now, we're going to duck in here, and we're going to save, and we're going to call it for this episode. That'll do it for today's episode of Castlevania Aria of Sorrow. I'll see you guys next time, where we go into the next area of the map. That giant chunk over there. We've got a lot to discover over there. And let's see where we can get to and get some more abilities. Until then, see you guys next time.